Hello, I've just recorded 5 minutes worth of conversation and I totally pressed the wrong button and now I'm starting again. Anyway, the first 5 minutes just me ranting about my period pain, so you're probably not missing much. But yeah, I just finished my craft meetings Christmas party, which usually a sign that the year is over. I know it's only like the 3rd of December right now, but that's kind of like a good sign, especially in Sydney, like December and January, because as I said in my previous video, most of the school kind of starting to take a break until end of January, and then school starts again in February. So Sydney, usually all the Sydney siders are going to leave town, and we're gonna have a lot more tourists. So Sydney doesn't really feel like Sydney in December and in January because we have a lot of out of towners coming in. But having the Christmas party now, this is my, what year is this? So I guess this is will be my ninth Christmas party with this group, and that's pretty cool. That's pretty big, ninth, not counting COVID, because I think there was a couple of years there where we couldn't kind of meet up because of COVID. Um, but it's a ninth year, and it just went by really quickly this year, and I'm not really sure what to do with it. Like this time last year, I was struggling to finish my documentary for my 40th year, which was I was doing like 5 days of vlogs. Every day for the whole 2024. So if you want to check that out, it's basically documented in my main channel, which is Valorine, which is VALOURINE. That's the name of the channel. You can check it out. And so it was really hard, like going into 2024, because I was having a full on year and there were so many things happened. And this year kind of like let go of a lot of things. I kind of just don't want to do anything. I kind of just gave up basically this year. And to be honest, like not being dramatic, but I probably have a flair for being dramatic. I was thinking like oh, I probably was. I don't know if this is a good idea to share, but because I have a very dark mind and I don't have any intention whatsoever to do this though, so it's trigger warning, self harm, etc. Like I was like thinking, oh, maybe I should quit being alive next year 2026 when everyone's kind of leave me and everything. I was like planning, oh, let's just see how it goes when that happens. And people left me earlier compared to my plan, and I'm like, oh, I had a moment in my head like thinking maybe I should finish my life now because I don't particularly have anything going on and I don't know if I want to keep going for any reason, which is like really crazy because today in the evening I basically talked to a lady who just lost her mother, and her mother was like 96, and I'm thinking 96, like I'm 42 soon, like in 3 months. So that's 96. To get to 96, that's like another 54 years. 54 years of my life. I will be 96. That's like another lifetime altogether. And I'm not sure even if I will still be in the body at 96. I'll probably be having dementia and won't be able to walk or eat or do anything. Will it still be worth it living until 96? I don't know. Maybe if I have like a lot of large family who is very good at taking care of me, that'll be nice. Um. Also, this other lady was basically saying like she's only 80, I think, or maybe a bit older, but maybe I think 80. But her oldest child is my age, like 42 years old, and her great so two great grandchild, the oldest is 21. It's like crazy if I think about it, right? Like, but even to 80 is only what, 38 years from now, around about. But once you get to 40, time moves very differently. So I'm just assuming from now on, time just gonna move faster and faster because this year just went by really quickly and I didn't even kind of realize that it has gone by, to be honest. Like, I have to be frank, like when I went into this year, I feel like I wanted for the divine to come up with the answer to my life because I feel like I just been trying and trying and trying and pushing for the answer myself and kind of fighting every single bit of the problem, trying to figure it out all myself. And this year kind of give up on that idea, and I kind of feel like I want, because I was mad at God a lot and I was mad at the universe a lot. I just really wanted it to, like, can I tell me, okay, like, what is it? What's the answer to my problem? Because apparently, if I'm trying to figure it out, it doesn't work out. And so I need you to figure it out for me because you don't want me to figure it out for myself. That kind of tone. So coming into this year, I was very resentful, very mad, very tired, exhausted, running on fumes and like fumes of fumes basically. So now I'm just not even, I don't even have fumes. I don't even have anything to go on with. So I feel like I really hit the end of my road 2025, and I feel like I am burning everything. And yet my mental state, maybe it is in full denial, which is why I'm still operating very normally right now. Because I definitely can feel like it's a fragile existence. Like one trigger and everything is just gonna collapse. And but I'm having, I don't know, feeling a very different. No, not different. It's just I'm not suffering in the sense that I'm in distress. I'm not in distress, so probably that's a better word. I am suffering, but more not in terms of pain at the moment. It's just more like a habit to suffer. Also, I have like this raven, and you probably can't see it, and I don't know how to flip it, but there is this raven, and the backdrop is the full moon, and I don't know, can you? Oh, I can't. So, and it's pretty cool. I don't know if I can flip it. So there is the raven right there, and there is a full moon right there. It's cooler in real life because the distance from the camera and the distance from my eyes are different. So I don't know. I feel like I'm living without purpose, and I'm just gliding into death. I feel like I'm gliding into the slaughterhouse basically because I don't know the answer to my problem. I'm trying to use old answers and definitely not working. But I'm operating from that, that old belief again. Like, at least you have to try something, you have to put efforts in. You can't just sit back and not do anything. I'm even trying to do that, like trying to use force to solve my issues and to try to work harder to, s- but I know it's not working because it didn't work because that's just how we got to this mess in the first place. And also I noticed like I'm showing up very differently in the world nowadays. Like I could feel like my presence is no longer the same old presence of, yeah, whatever you want, I can just be that, like be this chameleon like I used to when I haven't really realized my autism and before I have my nervous system a little bit regulated. than I do now. So now it's like when I'm, approaching or when I'm touched by a red flag, for example, I am very reactive to it. I'm like, wait a minute, this is bad. I don't think this should be the way moving forward. And I don't think I want to be part of this situation if it's a red flag, like, when you're talking to people, there is a lot faster response in acknowledging that this is not what I want. Like, for example, I was talking to this girl that I was trying to I was trying to pin down a time to meet, and this is like a stranger, like, because I got some business going on that I wanted to, to talk to her about and stuff. But she was just very frenetic, like her energy was so frenetic, and she was just like all over the place. And she's a very smart lady. She's like, basically her introduction was like, I'm doing my PhD, I'm also doing my working full time on top of my PhD and stuff like that. So um and then we set up a time to meet and stuff, and then she didn't show up, which I kind of predicted she wouldn't show up. And after she didn't show up, I say, and she goes, and then she kind of come back to me about a few hours after the designated time to meet, and she goes like, oh my god, uh totally missed that. And why don't you just call me at this number and then we can talk. And then the energy was just a lot demanding and a uh, very self-centered oriented, which is fine if you want to have that kind of interaction with another person. But at that time when I was interacting with her, I just felt like this person doesn't respect my time, didn't even say sorry for the fact that they didn't show up for the meeting, and didn't even acknowledge that she should, like, there is no consideration for accommodation for my time and my availability and everything. So I just decided, wait, this is not working out. I don't think I want to proceed with this further after about two interaction. And she was like very taken aback. She's like, why? You haven't even met me. So can you tell me why that you don't want to progress further? Like, she didn't say that. It was all on text. But I just ignored her and I blocked her. I just left the chat. Basically, I didn't really entertain her with the answer that she wanted, which basically she probably just going to counter me with a lot more, argument with why I was wrong, which is probably gonna be the whole dynamic of the interaction from then on. So I guess, like, example like that, like nowadays, like in the past, I would definitely would have pursued that. I would definitely would have entertained that. I would definitely would just accommodated that and say, you know what, that's okay. If you're available now, I would just text you or call you on the number that as you asked. I would just follow her lead probably in the past. Like, I would definitely do that. But nowadays, I think it's because my nervous system is so regulated. So as soon as I'm touched to another nervous system that is so frenetic and so disorganized and very scattered, my nervous system is like going, having the alarm going off, like, no, 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 this person is too disorganized for you, it's too chaotic. It's like we can't have that in our space, we can't have that in our immediate, kind of daily mental space as well. So it's like it wasn't a good relationship to start and to build. And I feel like that's the difference, I guess, between me and my 20-year-old self that was just so people pleasing and just so good at going anywhere that someone asked me to go, because I was just so pleased that someone would include me and stuff. I guess I'm just a lot more, even though I probably already see the symptoms of people manipulating me, but I think the need to be accepted was just larger back then than it is now. Maybe because I spent like not the past almost a decade and a half now in isolation. So the consequences of being rejected by another person is exile, is isolation. And in the old days, when you are exiled or when you are isolated, when you have to be by yourself, the consequences of that is death. So there is a huge nervous system programming in our body not to be exiled, not to be isolated, because it leads to death, because it's very dangerous. The problem is, I've been doing that for a decade and a half now almost, and I'm still alive. So that argument can't really be used with this particular nervous system right now, because the fact is, I'm still alive. It'd be nice if I'm not, but I'm still alive, which means the threat to be exiled or isolated by not forming relationship or allyship or friendship with someone is no longer there, because the threat has been lifted in for the past a decade and a half or a decade plus, means the threat of you will not survive on your own now has become a myth in my world. It's not a fact, so it has no value. But yeah, I guess it's just easier now to not when you don't sense the energy alignment, I would not go further. I would just like, oh, this is not doesn't feel right, so I'm just going to pull back and find somewhere else or someone else that feels better to get along with, I think. And I'm relying on that a lot more these days. Anyway, getting back to 2025, ending it, I really have no idea what I'm gonna do for 2026. Like there's still like threats to my survivals. Like I can still be without a roof over my head because all my financials are going worse and worse. It's definitely going worse now. It's approaching to like landslide going downwards. But I'm not panicking, which is weird and very concerning for myself as well because I'm not panicking. I'm not doing anything. But I'm also wanting to come back to the old part of me that I quite liked when I was younger, which was to rely heavily on my instinct, my heart instinct, not like my ego instinct, not my like desperation instinct, but my heart instinct is like the heart that feels as if that it knows, if it feels like it kind of knows what's happening right in the future a little bit, not too far in the future, but like to a certain situation, like it has a hunch or intuition, a feeling about it. And right now, I feel like my heart is not going on full panic, and I'm trusting that. That means like it's okay. It is quite at peace. I'm not saying that I don't have worries. I don't. I do have this surface level worries and surface level anxieties. It's still there, but it's just I am. I don't know how to explain it. It's just that I'm recognizing that just very good habit that I have been not good, but like that's just a habit that I have been performing for 42 years, 41 years of having to worry. Like that's just the way the brain functions, like worrying about this, worrying about that. But it doesn't hit my nervous system yet. Hopefully not yet. Hopefully never. So I'm relying on that fact. I'm relying that it would not hit my nervous system because it's a fake alarm, it's a fake worries. So I am anyway, I don't know my point. My point is I don't know what to do in 2026. I am a bit restored, not fully, but I am still exhausted. But I feel I regained maybe 20% of my energy. I don't know if that's worth celebrating, but I feel in 2025, even though I didn't do anything much, even though I'm still exhausted because I'm still doing something. I'm not. I am. I'm not gaining 100% of my energy because I have chronic illness. So recharging 100% is delusional. But I am feeling like I'm regaining like 20% of my energy, and that is more than last year. So I feel like last year probably I know I probably got I'm probably like contradicting myself, right? I'm probably saying I'm running fume on fume. I am, particularly financially, but mentally, I think I've gained about 20% capacity. I'm not sure about nervous system wise and emotional wise. And at least I am speaking up a little bit when, situation don't really go my way in some way. And I'm not, I guess, also not begging for people to stay. I'm not being desperate like I used to, I guess. Energetically as well. It's like, okay, I just have to go through this. I'm feeling very weird because like next year will be my 42, I'll be completing my 42 year, my 42nd year. So it's a full 2 years of my 40s just gone. And I still have no idea what I wanted to do for my 40s, except for like maybe the dream that was ignited in my 40th when I enter after my 40th birthday is to buy my own home outright and also to have the money for the rest of my life to pay maintenance fee and all the bills with it. Because let's be real, like you can buy something and then you suddenly realize that you have to sell it because you don't have the money to maintain it. That's a really real issues. So I guess that was probably the dream, is to buy my own place that no one can tell me to leave, and to pay out front, and to which is probably a huge delusional dream, but that's probably the dream, that not a dream but a goal. Well, it is a dream, I guess, because realistically I don't think it's actually realistic. um and I have one more delusional dream and goal. No, dream, probably fantasy. I have one more fantasy that I have, which is about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I went to this workshop called Tech Cracker, Technology Cracker. It's a tech cracker in uni. I didn't record it, so it was just me, and they were just showing off a lot of the new biotechnology and biomedical technology available in the world. And one of it was histotripsy, which is using radio ultrasound, using ultrasound to eliminate tumor cancer without any invasive surgery. And they did a demonstration for that. And the person who is behind the venture capital company that backed this technology and funded this technology was this company by Solina Chow, which is a billionaire. And she also donated $30 million to UNSW to build like a college, which is like a residential housing for students, especially for female in STEM. So that's the specific for that. So that's like the whole workshop was basically dedicated for that, uh, to celebrate her donation going into the uni. But we also got to see really cool stuff. Like we also got a presentation in how to basically not hijack but low jacked blood, and then put like a medication into the blood, and then the blood re-enter into our bloodstream again, and to, I think, to fight cancer or to fight something, to help heal things, because sometimes you have things in the brain that can only be reached by blood because of the, the brain blood barrier, whatever. So there was a lot of really good workshop presentation on that day. Also, I think we had one for, not mushroom, was it mushroom? Yeah, I think mushroom. There's this lady that was presenting about mushroom, and for the autoimmune, as part of the solution for autoimmune conditions. So that one was a bit specific. Anyway, you can check it out. It's called Tech Cracker. I think there probably is some kind of online thingy on Google or something, because it's a pretty much um, PR thing. I think, in my opinion, it was a PR thing. Anyway, when I kind of like, I had no idea who this person was. I had no idea that this whole event was basically a charade. Maybe that's a bit mean to say a charade, but it was more like, it's a show and tell, basically. And it was basically a PR for for media and everything. But anyway, like, the whole point for me was when I saw like this person, which is 6 year old something, because Selena Chow is an alumni of New South Wales Uni as well, UNSW. So in the 1970s, way before I was born. But anyway, it's like when I saw her, I felt jealous, but at the same time, it wasn't jealous as much that took over me. It was more this desire to be a billionaire, like, because I never seen an Asian auntie lady billionaire, and then the position was in the university to which I was a part of, to which I went to do my undergrad in, into where I returned to do a little bit of law, which I dropped out. But this place was a special place somewhere in the back of my mind. Not so much now, but I just never seen an older woman billionaire that is not married to anyone. Like Wendy Deng is an Asian lady, but she married Rupert Murdoch to gain the money, and she looked very westernized because she basically spent a lot of time in in America. She probably still sounds like there's still probably a lot of accent of like Chinese accents, but still. So I was never really presented with a representation of a Chinese lady who is a billionaire. So I guess when I saw this lady, Selena Chow, maybe she's just a representation of what I feel like I wanted to be, which is like a billionaire Asian lady that still just wears whatever she wants to wear. She doesn't look like one of those socialite that I usually see when I was younger, of like having, she whatever she's wearing is probably very expensive, let's put it that way. That's fine, but she doesn't look as if that she's out there and spending branded goods to do that. Like, she doesn't have that persona. And so I guess I always looked at her. I'm like, oh, I want to be a part of her billionaire Asian club ladies. That's what I wanted to like. That's suddenly that desire suddenly ignited. I wanted it to be a billionaire, and not because I wanted to be really rich, but because I wanted to be part of the group that she's in. Part of like well, the younger generation, probably the second younger, and then you have like a younger generation in the 20s below me, preferably. Um, Not as a hierarchy, but more like a second circles or third circles type of thing. And I felt like that desire of wanting to be an apprentice and wanting to be like learning the ropes of what it is to be a billionaire and how to channel the money, how to invest the money, how to grow the money. But of course, like in my head, to be able to have access to that, you have to come as an equal and not as like staff, not as someone who is working for them, not someone as someone who is catering to them. It's not as an employee, but more like as a peer. And as a peer, you need to have the money first to enter that kind of circle. And I feel like when I saw her, that's what I felt like. I felt like I want to have my $1 billion in my pocket or in my assets net worth so that I can enter that space and I want to learn. But of course, like my brain also acknowledged that I'm probably infatuated again. I'm probably thinking that it's perfect world, that there's probably going to be a lot of dirty things that going on behind the scene that I probably would feel like not wanting to be a part of it at all. So I'm acknowledging that in my brain, but I guess I am in my heart, I just wanted to be part of that club, part of that influence, and part of the network. At least I want to learn what I can from the older ladies, and so that when I am their age and when I am the senior in the circle, part of the elders in the circle, and when new women enter into the circle, that I can do what they do to me. So yeah, so I did have that kind of inspired dream again, which is like that'd be nice to be a billionaire and to be part of this group of people who are basically a shaker, a mover and shaker and stuff. Because like when I saw her and her company's investment track, you realize suddenly that these people know the giant people that are the oligarch of our tech right now, tech companies, because they met them when they were still doing rounds, when they were still raising rounds. So there was still just founders with no money, and before they were billionaires themselves. So you see, like they not only investing, but they're also fostering network and relationships with future billionaires, basically, because they were there when it was just seed money, when it was just, a flailing companies that not making any profit whatsoever. It's nowhere near of like IPOs, like nowhere near of going public or earning any kind of monetization. So they're basically building all of this capital in relationship. And because of course, like you invest 100, there probably only one out of the 100, or 1,000, you probably have like one or three out of 1,000 that actually become a unicorn, meaning like it becomes successful. Of course, that's probably the odd numbers of things working out. That's just life and just investing in general. um but yeah, so I think like maybe in my 40th year last year, the dream was to own my own home and buying it outright, and buying, having a lot of money, or enough, or more than enough money to pay for the maintenance for my length of life, basically. And I think this year, before the year ended, my second dream is to become part of the Asian auntie billionaire circle. Asian auntie billionaire circle. Because I don't know, I feel like my fantasy about that is just like discussing investment and then probably talking about people, because at the end of the day, you're talking about the people that you want to invest in, what kind of person they are, and what the kind of drive the investment vehicle forward and stuff. And I'm thinking like my fantasy is like talking about that in the kitchen, Like, should we invest $1 billion in this company while making dumplings? I think that's like the fantasy that I have. While another person is basically making the sauce for the dumpling, and another person is making, I don't know, frying some kind of I don't know, some kind of pancakes in the background. It's like, no, you should not invest in that. I'm hearing like the accent, like, the guy that is doing that, that's like, like he is bad news. He probably bankrupted the company like that he led like 2 years ago, and he was hush hush about it, and someone like his sister-in-law like saved him and now put him in this company, so no, don't invest in that company. I'm just imagining that kind of conversation happening. So I guess it's like, even though the price of entry is $1 billion, what I'm seeking, I guess, is equal partnership and mentorship from the ladies that have been around the block for decades, and how they make decisions and their mistakes, so that I don't make the same mistakes. I guess it's just more like that. Just the price of getting in is $1 billion, which is like very, very steep. But yeah, so I just got, yeah, I was just feeling like, because like in my head, up until that time, like billionaire club is a boys club, but when I saw her and her friends, it's like, oh, it's an Asian auntie club. I'm Asian, I'll be an auntie soon. Like, I'll be like that age soon, so I'll be like, I can see myself in them, I guess. And it changed a lot of like my fantasies, a lot of my delusion. Suddenly, the delusion is available, the fantasy is available. Before, it wasn't even entering into my possibility realm. It was just abstract ideas, it was not a physical person possibility idea. Anyway, it's getting really dark, so I've been rambling for about half an hour, 36 minutes, 37 minutes. I'll probably leave before it gets too dark. But yeah, that's my rambling for today. Just reflecting on 2025 goals and dreams. Probably I'll continue tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll probably chat, or maybe in a different time. I don't know when. When I feel like it again. And yeah, that's it for today. Like and subscribe if you like this video, and if you want to support directly, you can go to coffee.com/Valerine, and I'll see you later. Bye, everyone.